All right, all right, all right. Very excited. You guys, this is my biggest crowd, our biggest crowd. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. My name's Jennifer Wolfsey. Welcome. I'm the Family Recruitment and Retention Coordinator for Kansas City Public Schools, but I'm also a parent, so I've been in your shoes. My children started at P3 and went all the way. I have a senior in college, and I have a senior at Paseo right now. So yeah. So I'm very, very excited to share with you what we've got prepared for you today. So to let you know, I have most of your emails. I did notice a few people who had signed in new. Just make sure your email's legible. I plan on emailing this presentation to everybody on Monday, along with a recording. So we're gonna go ahead and record it tonight as well. So you don't really have to do anything. If you want to take pictures with your phone, that's kind of something I do, feel free. But really just sit and listen. We have quite a bit of content to go through today. So if it's okay with you, we'll hold questions to the end, and then we'll cover all of those. We'll stay as long as you need us to. But I'm really excited to show you this information. See if okay, Sam. I'm pressing. Just hold for a technical difficulty. There we go. All right. So what we're going to cover tonight, I will start off with schools in Kansas City because we have a lot of choices here. I don't know if you already knew that. Then the folks that I've gathered to help you guys understand what KCPS has to offer, they will take you through what we would call a day in the life. So from a pre-K perspective, and also we focus mostly on kindergartners because that's, when you enter elementary, but it's really all of elementary. We'll talk about arts, athletics, activities. I go over safety just a little bit, and then we talk about counseling and student supports. And we'll end with enrollment admissions because, believe it or not, it's already time to start thinking about next school year's enrollment. All right. This is the younger group. So if you do have an older child, you may be familiar with Kansas City's education landscape, but if not, if this is your first child and you're entering our system, it's a little daunting. Where do you begin? We have a ton of choices in the Kansas City public school boundaries, and we're here to try to help you get to know us a little bit better. So this is basically a picture tells 1,000 words. On the left-hand side are all of the schools within Kansas City public school boundaries. They consist of schools that we are responsible for, our traditional neighborhood schools, plus our signature programs, and then charter schools as well as independent or faith-based schools. On the right, those are our schools. The red represent the traditional neighborhood schools. Showing my age a little bit, but that's kind of how I grew up, where we lived in a neighborhood, and I went to one elementary, and then everybody went to the same middle, and then everybody went to the same high school. So we'll talk about some of the benefits of that in a minute. The green represent those signature programs that I had said. Those are the themes or specialized areas that kind of resonated with people from the magnet programs back in the day, and I'll walk you through what those are as well. So just a little bit deeper here so you understand this school landscape in Kansas City. Public neighborhood schools are run by Kansas City Public Schools. They are free. Usually they are defined by boundaries, a lot of times by neighborhood boundaries. They're organized into a really easy to understand K through 12 feeder pattern. And enrolling is easy. If you live in that boundary, you are in that school. You are guaranteed a seat in that school. The public choice schools, we have some of those. They're run by Kansas City Public Schools. They're called signature schools. They're known by magnets or themes. We'll talk about those themes in a minute. And then there's also charters. Those are not run by us. Those are run independently by charter operators. They are free, but they are not necessarily defined by boundaries. So in the signature schools that we run, as long as you live within the Kansas City Public School boundaries, you can apply to those schools. Charters don't necessarily have boundaries. Some have defined in their own charters that they want to kind of serve a particular neighborhood, area, or zip code, but that's kind of individual by different charters. Some of the charters do go K through 12, but not all. You must apply for a seat in a choice school. Our signature schools have requirements. I call it the ABCs a lot of times: attendance, behavior, coursework, or grade type requirements. We have a performing arts school that also asks you to do an audition for the high school. We'll talk about that in a minute. And if there are more students who apply than there are seats available, then usually in choice schools, you have to run a lottery. Then you have your independent and faith-based schools. They charge tuition, not necessarily defined by boundaries. You must apply for a seat, and a lot of times there's a screening or a test for admission. So neighborhood schools, like I said, that's kind of how I grew up. They are, an extension of when you get involved in one, especially starting in elementary, you start to see those same students, teachers, families in your day-to-day life, and they really do become an extension of your family. And I call it the village because as a mom that was constantly running around, I was leaning on my village to, could you pick up Ella? Could you pick up Abby? They were my contacts on my list. You do end up being invested in the neighborhood. The students really, it's not just the students, it's the families. They get a sense of belonging when you start to see each other at events frequently. There is just something that happens as a group. The other nice thing about the neighborhood schools is it's really set it and forget it. It's like you start to know this is where you're going to start and then go to middle and go to high. In our school district, you also have options. You could start on the neighborhood side, and then maybe you choose to go to a signature school. So you can kind of make it work for you. But again, all you have to do is enroll. The signature schools are theme-based. We have the African-Centered Studies program at AC Prep. It goes it's actually pre-K through 8. We have 2 Montessoris, Border Star and Holiday, and they go pre-K through, do I have those? Oh, I thought it said 8. Pre-K through 6, sorry. And we have 2 foreign language programs. One's at Carver Elementary, and that is Spanish immersion, and it's K through 6. And the other foreign language program is Foreign Language Academy. It is K through 8, and it is Spanish and Chinese Mandarin. We have Fine and Performing Arts School. That is middle school and high school. Paseo is that school. And then college prep is Lincoln Middle and Lincoln High. Goes 6 through 12. You have to be a KCPS resident to apply. You must meet minimum requirements. They are on the website. You must complete an application. And again, there's a lottery. If more people apply, then there are seats. But the great thing about KCPS, there are some things that just everybody gets. So transportation. I wonder if many of you have heard we switched transportation providers this year, and it has been markedly better. Zoom, with its app, my child doesn't ride the bus anymore, but I have heard great things from parents about the ability to be able to see when their student gets on the bus, when they get off the bus. They can time everything. It's a very nice relationship with Zoom. Our school district is a community eligible school district, and that means that everybody within our school district receives free and breakfast and lunch. And so as a parent, that's also just a nice benefit that's not something that you have to worry about. Our elementary schools offer free before and after care through Link, a provider that we've worked with for many, many years, and I believe it goes from 7 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. in the evening. And the part that you're going to hear more about from others in just a minute are our rigorous curriculum in pre-K and elementary for not just the academics, but the arts and athletics, and then all the student supports that every student receives. All right, so now I get to turn it over to the Officer of Early Learning, Ms. Julia Wendt. She's going to take you through academics, and I believe she's also going to take you through arts as well.
Thanks. Hi, Julia Wendt. So nice to meet all of you. Thank you so much for coming out. Raise your hand if you have a student going into pre-K. Okay, almost all of you. Okay, raise your hand if you have a student going into K through 6. Okay, wonderful, great. So glad you came out. I remember being in your shoes. It's a little bit confusing, all the options in our district. So how many pre-K locations do you think we might have in our Kansas City Public Schools district? Anybody want to call out a number or show on your hands? How many locations do you think we have? 4 or 5, 2, 12? We have 15. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going backwards. Oh my gosh, so I passed out this map, and we have 15, even more if you count our special ed, where we partner with some of our special ed agencies. So I'd lump them for you so you can kind of see. So if you look at our pre-K locations, those are our neighborhood schools. So those elementary schools you see on that map, some of them have pre-K. Some of them are Signature that have pre-K. So we have Garcia has 3 classrooms, Garfield has 2, Hale Cook has 1, Hartman has 2, James has 2, Rogers has 2, Trailwoods has 2, and Pitcher has 1 classroom. And you can see on the map that I handed out, the blue ones are technically called neighborhood schools, or that's the program. And then what I'd also like to point out is our Head Start. So some of our families qualify for our Head Start program, which is a federal grant. It's phenomenal. There's a higher teacher-student ratio. There's wraparound social services. And that is our Woodland up there and our Richardson down here in the more central area. Sometimes students have to meet income eligibility, and sometimes they accept a % of students that don't meet income eligibility. So go ahead and apply on that if you'd like. This together here is about 600 seats. So we have about 600, 700 openings for pre-K just between those 2 programs. So we're very busy teaching the future. We have our pre-K cooperative. So we don't have room, say, at our Carver dual language, or at Phillips, or Melcher, or King. We partner across the street with Emmanuel Center. There's 3 classrooms there, and then at Operation Breakthrough up here, up the street, there's 2 classrooms. So we have a lot of options, and the unique one about this one is Emmanuel has 2 Spanish immersion classrooms. So they learn in dual language, and then they can go on to Carver or FLA and have that leg up and have that early exposure to Spanish. Same with our African, I forgot to put the African-centered, oh yeah, it's right here. African-centered also has that African-centered component with the Kwanzaa-based curriculum. So again, I'll go into that. My son went there, I taught there, I really love ACE. They have 3 classrooms there. We also have Holiday Montessori, there's 6 classrooms there. And Border Star, which everyone's I'm sure heard of, we have 4 classrooms there. So as you can see, there's a lot more to our pre-K than just Border Star. But again, these are more of a historic legacy. They've stayed around for a long time just because of the program, signature program. Some of the larger sites have before and after care, so that's just a question of if we have staff, and so we can give that nuance to you if you give us a call at 418-PRE-K. Isn't that funny that you love that number, 418-PRE-K? Tell a friend. So even if this doesn't apply to you, I'm sure you know somebody who needs pre-K. We will serve their students, and it's all free, okay? So does this kind of make sense? Can you see how these feed up? If you are enrolled, you get priority enrollment if you want to choose kindergarten. So if you choose a signature kindergarten, you would get priority enrollment if you are already in our pre-K to go to that signature kindergarten. Okay, so I hope that answers some of the kindergarten questions. What do we do in our pre-K besides Montessori? So the Montessori is very popular, but with all of our other pre-K, even at Emmanuel Carver, Head Start, all the pre-K locations, we use creative curriculum. Creative curriculum is project-based learning, which is really, really cool, really awesome. It's constructivist, which started in Reggio Emilia, Italy. We go through projects. So as you can see, we have a launch project every 6 weeks, and that just the teachers and the students just take it from there. So they'll start the year out with different studies. But before we go into some of that, I just want to take a moment to talk about the most important part of our readiness for kindergarten, which is our social emotional learning. How many of you kind of wish you had a better self-regulation with your parenting and how you could maybe be more emotionally regulated or have social skills? That is the most important part of our pre-K morning, throughout the day. That's really what the students learn. So we use a brain-based curriculum that helps the teacher, of course, regulate themselves and then download that calm to the students and build a community of learning, where we start with, I'm safe, I belong, what can I learn today? And we answer those questions to those students through activities throughout the day. The student up here is practicing the pretzel breathing and just learning to get that oxygen flow to the brain, which helps us have higher level thinking and build that connection and problem solving. We have a wish well. Those 4 students were out that day, and we sing a song and wish them well, and everyone has a sense of belonging. That's very important to us. Again, self-regulation. So we have the students come in and connect with each other. They always have someone to connect with. And if you're a parent with us, you learn these things too, and it really helps. I wish I would have known. I didn't learn this till my son was in 3rd grade, and it's so phenomenal to have them have that language of their feelings so they can advocate for themselves and communicate to their friends and each other and really be empowered in that way. We have calm down corners and really just that learning to listen to others as well. So again, in our project-based learning, we incorporate those sensorial skills and those tactile motor skills, and it looks kind of like play, but really it's exploration, and it's building those muscles, hand muscles, cutting, pinching, hole punching, finger grasp, pincer grasp, so that when they do go to write their name or write their pencil, they've developed that over time, and they have that very specific pincer grasp, those fine motor skills, muscles in their hand. So we actually, it's very intentional when we do those things. Again, tactile experiences are very centering for the students, very grounding, and really help them to have those jobs and be engaged in the community, engaged in the interworkings. We have them have sweeping and all those practical life skills that we need them to engage with at school and at home. I love this one because they're going to recess indoors, and when it's raining, they get to have fun and make it really social. It's very social in our neighborhood pre-K versus I think Montessori has its more individual lens where a lot of quiet, a lot of on the rug. But in our creative curriculum, it's very socially oriented and very much, what can I learn today? For example, this was one of our lessons where they found a weed growing in a trash can, and the students got very excited about plants, and they learned about plants, they brought them inside, and that sparked, that inquiry, that curiosity, sparked the next questions, and they bring in the books, and they engage with the natural world, and they have their clipboards, and they do their data, and they measure, and they own the learning versus sit and they get curious, so they can establish that curiosity and, grow their genius, which we want for all of your students. Again, here's another project that you'll see on our project walks. This is all about fish, and here's the students learning about fish. You don't have to do that at home with your family in your kitchen, but then we bring in the books about fish, and the kids get to learn about all the different types of fish and really get engaged with the wider community and the natural world. Our Head Start Woodland and Richardson also have an outdoor classroom, so I hope you stop by, and if you get a tour, that's what we ask you to do. Come and visit. They have a whole outdoor classroom that's nature-based. Math skills, so we want them all to count to 20, be able to have understanding of numeracy and know their numerals by the time they leave. We do that in a social setting, and our project work also incorporates this very naturally. When we do buildings or we're doing wheels, we're always bringing in our math skills. We also do money and trade. They do shop and have the coin identification and counting. And again, our literacy skills, we have our creative curriculum has high interest literature. So we have very fabulous embedded literature from our curriculum and as well as from the library. So you get books to go, you get books at home. And all of our teachers are getting trained in the science of reading. You may have heard of letters training. And so that's really phenomenal to have each teacher really have that reading specialist lens. I'm a reading specialist. And so that's really the most important part is developing that early literacy in those little phonological ways. And we teach you some ideas to help get your students ready and for all that learning so they can then know their letters and then build words. So really great. just today, you may have, if you're a pre-K family, you may have received your DRDP report. So it tells us this is maybe a student who's halfway through the year. That's kindergarten ready. So we can see where they need to be growing and what we can do at home, teach to transfer. Also in our DRDP portal, you can open it up and see what they did today. You can see what skills they've mastered. There's photos, there's a portfolio, and a two-way communication. So again, it's self-regulation, social emotional, language, literacy, math, science, physical development, health, history and science, and visual and performing arts. So a lot of data that you wouldn't guess we do on pre-K students. It's very, very, very detailed, very specific. We are professionals. All of our teachers are certified, and we have a para-professional in the room as well, who's also usually very experienced as well. So two teachers to every 20 students, really, really great ratio. So again, can you look at your neighborhood boundaries and see what your neighborhood school is? Do you know what your neighborhood school is? Go ahead and look at that and sort of engage with that if you can see the streets. There's another way we're going to do at the end where you get to do School Finder and see what your neighborhood school is in our system. Okay, now we're going to talk about kindergarten briefly. So if you're interested in our kindergarten, please know that we have a lot of different themed programs, but in every single school, we have a reading interventionist in every school. So if our students are lacking in any of those skills, we have a reading interventionist who pulls them in for special reading. All of the teachers also are letters trained K through third. Oh my gosh. And we have a curriculum, which is a basal. So the students are not only being exposed to small group in their spelling and going through a very specific curriculum of expectations to hit each grade, they're also getting exposed to real engaging text. It's very exciting and high level and fun. And you may have even had some of these books in your home. So it's really phenomenal. We embed the social studies as well. So we embed a lot of the history, the community service, and in our math, we use Go Math, and we use Discovery Ed Science. So it's integrated. We build it all together, and the day makes sense for the students. They learn to subjugate, which is like add and subtract, up to, and they learn their place value, ones, tens, hundreds. That helps them when they're learning our coins and math identification, and they can also learn early telling time as well as graphing. So science, here's the cool thing. Here's two more cool things. In our kindergarten through sixth grade, they get to go through something called Project Lead the Way, PLTW, and that's a special. So every week they get to go to robotics, basically. They don't just go to computer lab like we did with the Oregon Trail or whatever that I did. They get to go to robotics and build really engaging lessons with their friends. It's all of our students, or it's also called iSpark, I believe, as well. They have an iSpark teacher. It's really their favorite. I've seen them do the Little Red Riding Hood with having to build the straw house and the brick house and the wooden house and blow it all down. So they embed some of the literature with some of the fun and engaging things so the students can play and experiment and take that socially. So I would really suggest that you take Jennifer up on that tour and go visit some of our classrooms and see our students in action. So last thing, if I could ask you, if you want to, pull your phone up and open that QR code, or I'll print it off and you can take it with you. We just need your engagement and interest. Do you think that our 4-year-olds should go to kindergarten, or do you think that we should change the birthday to be July 31st? So currently we have 2 birth dates. Our pre-K students, the pre-K funding is that they have to turn 3 or 4 by July 31st. And our kindergarten birthday needs to change to also match that because it's still August 31st. So if the students the students can turn 5 up until August 31st to enter kindergarten. We're hoping to put them back and align them together just so that it makes sense for our families. And we think that might help a little bit with developmental needs so that everyone who starts kindergarten will be 5 years old already. So technically that would be the August 1st birthday. That's what this says. If you want to make your opinion known, that would be very helpful because we don't want to make any big changes that affect you without your input. And that would be very helpful. They do this for St. Louis, because St. Louis borders Illinois. And they do this for us because we border Kansas. So they kind of let the cities that are on a border make their own choice of how they want to change the birthday. But the whole state of Missouri is July 31st. It's just kind of random. I've seen our district, when I was a pre-K teacher, it was October. And I had to have 2-year-olds in my classroom. And so it kind of changes a lot, and we just hope to just align it and zip it back up to July 31st and just keep it there for a long time. If you have a kid who already in their program, of course, they would stick with that original birthday. For next year. I'm August 20th. That's my birthday, too. I'm a twin, too, so my mom was really wanting us to get out of the house. So you will vote no, probably. Do you have a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old? Oh, he's 4, so he's going to be turning 5. August 20th, yeah. So it would probably keep him in another year of P4, free pre-K. So you got to think about, do you want your student to start college at 17, like me? Or do you want them to start college when they can legally vote? I think, for me, I don't know. I wish I was challenged, but I kind of wish I would have had another year to mature. So that's just my opinion. But take it, and if you get into our free pre-K, get another year at home with your student. So we call it, I think it's class of 2038, 2039. So we are looking towards the future right now. I'm gonna actually, right now I would pass it to our music person, but I'm gonna take that from here. Do you have any questions before I get started on music? Questions at the end, okay. So we have iSpark in all the classrooms as a special, and drum roll please, we also have music, and each child gets an instrument. Oh my gosh, in Texas, it's a requirement. Every child plays an instrument. It's a part of their curriculum. Our district has that as well. So your child will choose an instrument in elementary school and have instrumental music and in elementary school. Oh my gosh. No driving them all around the city to go to that. I love it, and if maybe their instrument's their voice, you have that at school. So I'm gonna sort of take you through some of this. Our visual arts program. We partner with the Nelson Atkins, Arts Tech, Arts KC, American Jazz Museum. We are just the coolest when it comes to music. We partner with Harmony Project, my son was in that, Palin Music, KC Strings, Sprouts, Community Partners. We have our 2 music directors are phenomenal. They came from the district. They're very inspiring, wonderful ladies. We also have the vocal music. Allegro choirs, this is like a cappella. They get to go to lyric opera and learn from opera singers. We partner with Mizzou. We get a lot of really amazing community partners coming into our district schools, and it really is a very community feel. You don't really get that anywhere else, and Kansas City has that status as the jazz capital. It's really exciting that we bring that to our students. Dance, so we have Friends of Alvin Ailey, KC Ballet, UMKC, Take the Stage. A lot of our high schools, I'll show you a map of, if you're thinking about what feeder pattern you're in for high school, you'll see that there's a lot of different options at some of our different high schools. Theater, we have the Kauffman Foundation. We get to partner with Starlight, fun, Black Repertory Theater. We do small group memorization, narration. I don't know about you, but some of us really learn through the arts, or that gets our interest going, or that novelty, that excitement, that's some of how our students learn. And for them to elevate that and bring that into their school day so that they can have that success is very exciting. If we have those talented students, or just to grow those brain cells and those connections across the right and left brain, really help enhance learning for our students. So if you're interested, take a look. It's alphabetized, so we have music and choir, band, orchestra. So after they choose an instrument, they get to take part in an orchestra or a small band in their school. And if their instrument is their voice, then they get to have voice lessons. Again, art in every classroom, and then dances at King. And King is next to Paseo right now. So again, if you look at AC Prep, they also have dance, but it's African dance. My son went there, and it was just really fun watching him do African drumming and dance. And that was so exciting for him and his friends. AC Prep also partners with Starlight. They have the most hilarious, amazing costumes, just from all the leftovers that we get. It's wonderful. Middle school. So this may not really apply to you, but you can start to think about your trajectory of where you want your students to go. So FLA, Northeast Middle, I'm sure you can read some of what some of those are. African dance, ballet, foundational ballet. These are usually ballerinas from Kansas City Ballet coming to work with our students. I think there's another slide about that, so let me click ahead. Let me see if, yeah. So we have Alvin Ailey in the summer. We have Alvin Ailey in our schools during the school day. Oh my gosh. And we have the Youth Symphony in our high schools and middle schools. I'm so impressed. Let me go back. Okay, I think we got that. This is also something really interesting. If your student's interested, my nephew loves sewing and he makes his own clothes. These kids get to go to the Lyric Opera and go behind the stage and watch the tech theater. They get to watch how the costumes are built, talk to the actors, talk to the directors. They get to go and join vocal coaching. We have this woman right here is a famous singer, and she sings 5 octaves, and they get to be trained with her in their school day at Lincoln College Prep. So they get to come to you're going to get a lot of free tickets to some of these shows, and it's just really fun to be a part of our community. You wouldn't probably know all that. Isn't that amazing? Oh my gosh, I'm so impressed. So I'm going to pass it to our athletics, Mr. Roger Franks, to talk about sports. When I went to Paseo, there were not sports. I wish I would have. It was an arts high school then, but just really grateful for you. If you have any questions for me, my card is up there, and it's 418 pre-K. And reach out. I'll be in the back of the room. Thank you.
I'll just need that. You can take that. Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Roger Franks, and
Do you mind using it just because we're recording?
Oh, we're recording. Thank you. You have a great voice, though.
I didn't want to. All right, so that's what I was afraid of. Good evening. My name is Roger Franks, and I'm the assistant athletic director. And you see my co-worker, and Mr. Myers, who is the actual athletic director here for the Kansas City School District. Again, these are some of the sports that we offer here in the elementary level. Currently, we have flag football, and I'm not going to read everything to you, but I also see some of the places that we partnership with to make sure our kids are able to get the first steps of athletics, where I encourage all your kids to start playing sports at an early age because, again, you learn things you don't get in the classroom, and you get to learn how to socialize, and you get them out the house. Again, this is Ms. Wolfsey is going to have this to you where you can see the app, how you want to register your student to certain athletic events on this app here with all the different activities that they have available. Eventually, when you get to this level, that means they're on the way to getting out the house at the high school level. So again, you see the sports that they offer from middle school to high school. We have a lot of co-ed sports. We have flag football and things like that. And later on in the presentation, you actually get to see the visuals of some of this. Again, every school has an athletic director at the middle school level and high school level. That way, they will be your front line when you get to the schools where they can give you information that you need. And again, if they don't satisfy your needs, that's why we're here to make sure you get what you need to make sure your student is successful. So here are some of the pictures of some of the sports we offer. Right now, we're in the season of middle school football. So you see some of the young men, and it's tackle. And again, young ladies can play as well. These are just some of the sports that we play. Some of the state championship schools that we have representing. Again, I'm going to breeze through this cross country because it's better to actually get to see the visuals of what actually goes on in the school district. Boys volleyball. And we play down at the Urban Youth Academy with baseball. Central made it to the state championship this year, and that's a picture of that. We have girls basketball. East won the state championship in soccer, and they're on the way to do it again this year as well. Have swimming, and have a real nice pool at Central High School. It's getting renovated and really getting upgraded. We have tennis. Again, we had a young lady from Lincoln, won state at tennis last year. Here's football. We have a variety of teams that are doing well. started this last year, sponsored by the NFL. We have girls flag football, which is becoming a big thing, not just here, but nationwide. We have cheer. And I think that would be it. All right. No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Franks. As a parent who's been here for almost 20, sorry, I'm going to do one quick. Okay. As a parent who's been here for almost 20 years, what I want to tell you is I've seen the progression of sports come back into Kansas City public schools. You know, when my daughter was in high school, there were one or two kind of sports powerhouses in the district, but now with the effort that Mr. Myers, Mr. Franks, and Ms. Bullock have put into rebuilding, having the opportunity for students that want to participate in elementary, where you start to be on teams together with friends and whatnot, when you move to middle school, it is noticeably different when the kids are playing together because they've played together before, right? We've all seen this. And then that moves on to high school. So that's why you're seeing this will be the third year if East goes to the state finals. I mean, you can start to see, I get a little tingly in the head because I'm like, these are noticeable changes within our school district. So I just want you to know the district's fully committed to these programs, and you know we want parents to take it, and their students, of course, to take advantage of them. So I'll quickly go over safety because this is important to me as a parent in the district. Just so you know, I was also a former board member for 7 years. So I know this stuff backwards and forwards because it was very important to the school board and the administration as well. Like most places these days, everybody does safety drills, be they fire, tornado, or an intruder drill. And I believe they do them at least every semester, if not every quarter, just for reference. What monthly? Oh, we have a teacher here, so they do them monthly. So that, just so that it is second nature to students and staff when these things actually do happen. We also have secure entrances at every school now so that you'll see them. They're usually clear, and that is so that the person coming in will submit an ID, just like you guys did tonight. You get the hall pass, which looks you up on a database that is updated, I believe, every night. So that's our visitor management system. So we keep people who should not be in the building out of the building. Then we also have screening at our secondary schools, middle and high, and that is screening of students and any visitors coming in. And that's not just screening of the student walking through, but also of any bags that come into the building as well. And those we approved when I was still on the board. Those are the same screeners that you see out at the airport. So they are legit. We also have school resource officers. Now, at the elementary school, they're not in the schools, correct? Okay. But they have a patrol, so they are usually, patrolling certain sets of schools. But at the middle and the high, they actually do have school resource officers who are dedicated to those particular schools. What I will tell you as a parent, and my children have been in two different secondary schools, is that the students really do get to know those school resource officers. They become a part of the school culture, and it's a good thing because you want them to have relationships with the students so that they are constantly aware of anything going on in that building. And then something new, I think it came on last spring. If you look up at this dot here next to the vent, that's called the Centegix system. All staff carries a badge now where you press it and there are levels to the pressing. First level really being just like a safety thing. I'm looking at you because you're a real teacher and I want to make sure I'm getting this right. But that would be maybe something's on the floor. We've got to clean this up. I've got an incident here, just here's where I am. It knows where you are in the building, and it's kind of the lowest level of safety security, all the way to the other end, which is you have an intruder in the building. And so these flash different colors based on what the level of security issue is. So very front and I guess at the edge of safety these days in schools. So. Yes, please. And actually, I'm done with safety, but this is Ms. Josie Herrera, our Executive Director of Student Services. So how about I pass?
A little bit more about these badges. These are amazing. We were the first one in the metropolitan area to get this program. And it's every building has a team that gets immediately notified if a student passes out in a room, has a seizure, has an asthma attack, is choking. That teacher or para or face liaison, every employee, even the custodian, everybody has one of these. They can immediately click this button and it notifies on our phone and on the laptops of the designated team, of that response team, and they can see exactly where in the building. So no more on the walkie-talkie, where are you at? I'm coming outside. Are you on the playground? What room are you in? It immediately has a map on your phone for an app or on your laptop and lets us know exactly where to go. And even here at the BOE, I'm on the response team. My director of nursing is also on that team. And what we did last year is every building's response team, we made sure they had first aid training. So when they get there, how do they know what to do? They're a little bit more equipped, so it's just not the nurse and security that are trained, the building team is trained. And then if you push it, I think it's 8 times consecutively, that's the highest elevation. That means there is somebody in the building that should not be in the building. We're not asking any of our employees to go and approach that person, err on the side of caution, and everybody's laptop in that building gets that notification. Shut your doors, lock your door, get to a safe area. And it is immediate. It is no longer that the principal needs to get to the front office to make the announcement. We have an intruder in the building, this is a lockdown. It's immediate. So we were one of the first schools in the metropolitan area. I believe Olathe also has it. So that's how important that our superintendent feels about our safety, investing in these. And these little things are throughout every building throughout our district. So I want to give you a little bit more detail on that badge. It's pretty cool. So as she said, I am Josie Herrera. I'm the Executive Director of Student Support Services, formerly a principal within the building. That's why I can share a little bit more about that stuff. And over at Student Services, we oversee all of our students. Now, I know Julia explained a lot of the SEL at the early childhood. I'm going to talk a little bit more about K through 12. So when your students enrolled and they stay with us, these are some of the other extra great things and support. We know that we've got things in place for the academics, and we have wonderful sports, but we also know that if we're not taking care of the whole child, that teacher can't move them academically. If that child is suffering from transition and living on a couch, we need to be able to address that. That's the ACE scores, the trauma that they're feeling. If that child is coming from a household that is having food insecurities, we want to make sure we address those. And that's where some of our different social emotional support come from. Within student services, we have our students in transition department, our nursing department, our behavioral health department. Also, we oversee discipline, but we know discipline comes from trauma, so that's why they're in the same department. So this is a little bit about areas of wraparound support that we do, because we know, again, that academics doesn't happen if the child's having a behavior problem. If the child's having a behavior problem, we want to dig deeper. Why? Behavior is simply trauma, and we've got to dig deeper what's going on to be able to help them. When we help a child, we call that tiered support. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And you can kind of think it as Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3. Tier 1, whenever you see that, that means everybody in the entire room or building gets that same instruction and support. So there are things at Tier 1 that the teacher's doing across the district, K through 12. Each building has a family and community engagement. That's Tier 1. They're communicating with everyone. But then they also help with Tier 2. For example, a family that's suffering from homelessness. They might be the first ones because they know those parents very well. So they're going to reach out to that parent and connect them with the department. And then you can see some of our other supports that we have throughout the district. I'll let you kind of read over that. We're very proud, that bottom one, trauma clinicians. We have licensed clinicians in our building. Let me repeat that. licensed clinicians. That's beyond a counselor, that's beyond a social worker. They can actually do therapy and diagnosis. They're licensed clinicians. They do short-term therapy, and then if it's beyond 6 sessions, they support with some wraparound services, and they connect the family and our students to all of our many outside agencies and partners. And then this gives you just a little bit more detail about what that Tier 1, some examples might look like. It's embedded into our curriculum. And then at every building, there's an emotional support team there to help all students. And then when we identify a child's needs a little bit more, they need just a little bit extra, we call that Tier 2. And these are some of the things that we have in place for those students. Bolded here, I really want to talk very quickly about our multi-tiered system of support. Each building has what we call an MTSS team. It's made of the administrator, exceptional ed, general education, usually the counselor, maybe a reading specialist, could be the ESL teacher if it's applicable. Whenever a teacher identifies a student having academic challenges, maybe behaviorally, maybe language acquisition. There's some things they're not accessing the curriculum because there's a language challenge. For any reason, they can do a referral to our MTSS team at the building, and the team comes together and we literally brainstorm. What's going on? What's the data tell us? Oh, and it's funny, as something as simple as like, wait, they can't see the board, they need glasses. It could be, oh, there's something in that's not clicking the right way. We need to do some more phonemic awareness with them. That's why they can't see that. Oh, perhaps they have dyslexia. Let's get some data to provide us what direction to go. This team is incredible, and we're real excited this year because we have an MTSS handbook. It's always been in place, but what we're doing is we're making it systematic. So it's a quality support system at every building. So we're real excited about that. And then this is an example of Tier 3. In Tier 3, we still have support, but at Tier 3, we may also be reaching out to some of our outside agencies. We have a lot of partnerships with area health supports, and that's when we're also extending that support. I want to also mention this Hazel Heart down at the bottom. Does anybody have any elementary school kids? No. Well, the great thing is we even offer teletherapy with this Hazel Heart company. So if the student needs extended support, they can actually sit with a therapist and they get free sessions. It's free to all of our students despite their insurance status. The student can have that session at school or at home with the parent. And so we're real excited about having that program. Again, I believe we are the only one in the metropolitan area that are implementing that telehealth program, Hazel Heart. And then the other end of that is Hazel Health, and we offer free doctor's appointments in the nurse's office. So if your child is just having a cold and more of a common illness, with a waiver, you can sign that waiver and the school nurse will log on with a doctor and they can have a telehealth doctor's appointment, and again, free of charge. So that's a little bit about all the social and emotional support. And again, as you heard earlier, all of this thing, it's free. We want our students to be successful. It's nothing that you have to apply for. We're gonna wrap around your children and take care of them, K through 12, and actually pre-K, early child through 12th grade. But how do you get in? Wanna know how to get in? All right, Ms. Shyla Lewis is going to talk to you a little bit about that enrollment process, and again, we're trying to make it as simple as possible for you guys.
All right, good evening, everyone. So yes, as Ms. Herrera said, you have heard a lot of information tonight about pre-K, kindergarten, and just all around all of our services and schools that we have to offer. So now the fun part and the most important part, how do you enroll? How do you get in, all right? So as you heard, we have neighborhood schools, we have signature schools, we have Head Start. So first, let's just start off with simple. How do you determine what is your neighborhood school, okay? How do you determine what your neighborhood school is? It's simple. You go to our website. We have this fun tool called School Finder, and you go online to kcpublicschools.org. You click Enroll, scroll down, enter your address where it says what is your home address. You select the grade, and it will show you what your neighborhood school is, okay? Now, as Ms. Wentz said, we have many options for pre-K, and this will show you the school that is either your neighborhood school or the school that is closest to your home address, okay? So it's easy as that to determine what your neighborhood school is. But this is some important dates that we need to remember, okay? So school year 26, and it's hard to believe that we're already talking about school year 26, but school year 26 kicks off on Saturday, November 9th, okay? So that's a couple of weeks away. Saturday, November 9th is when you can start applying for enrollment for next school year. So if it's your neighborhood school or a signature school or Head Start, whatever it is, November 9th is the date that you can start applying and enrolling in, okay? We do a lottery for our pre-K. So it's a weighted lottery. So you would submit your application. The deadline to submit the application is February 14th. The lottery and notifications will be ran on February 24th. And then you will have 2 weeks to accept that seat. So you have to accept it by March 7th. Now, one thing is, say right now you already have a pre-K student, and you're like, hey, I'm trying to have my baby come right now. We do still have a few openings in some pre-K spots right now. So if that's the case, you can come right down here, back to this building, to the admissions office. You pass the admissions office on your way to this building, into this room. Stop by there Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. We'll help you apply. We have kiosks set up. We'll help you with your documents. And if there is a seat available, your baby can start right now, as long as they meet the age requirements and there's a seat available. So November 9th is for next school year, so next August. But like I said, we do still have a few slots available right now. So feel free to come down or chat with either myself, Ms. Wolfsey, Ms. Went back here, and we can talk to you about some current openings that we have right now. So required documents that we require is that we need the parent ID, we need proof of residency, we need birth certificate and immunization records. School records does not pertain to you guys because this is, school records would only be if you had an older student that you were trying to enroll. So if you have any older students that might be going into middle or high, or even some of our elementary schools, you might need school records for that. But just for pre-K and kindergarten, no school records are required. So we are having an enrollment kickoff. So like I said, Saturday, November 9th is the date that we need to remember. That's when school year 26 opens. We have partnered with our good organization, Show Me KC Schools, if you guys do not know them. They're an excellent parent group that is in the community that helps families navigate all the options throughout the Kansas City area. And so every year they have a city school fair down at the downtown library. And they have schools from all over the Kansas City area there. So we will be there from 10 to 1. And then that afternoon, we'll be right here in this room. The admissions team will be here from 1:30 to 3. And we'll be here assisting families with enrollment and completing the application for school year 26. So admissions, again, we're here to help. We have 4 admission specialists, 2 bilingual admission specialists that are here to assist families with the application. Like I said, we have many kiosks out here. We can help you. All you have to do is just bring your documents. We'll scan them on a flash drive for you. We'll help you through the application if you need it. The application is also available online through your phone. So you can go to enrollkc.org, click enroll, and it'll bring the application up, and you can do it from your phone. Just take clear pictures and upload it like you're uploading a regular picture to wherever you're uploading a picture to. It's that easy. But if you do need assistance, we're always here to assist. Right down here, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. All right. All right, and now we are turning it over to Ms. Wolfsey, and we are about to kick off. There you go.
Before we do questions, I just want to put in my plug to after information sessions, schools will be opening up for parent school tours during the day, as well as, not really for you guys, but if you know people who have middle or high schoolers, we also do student shadow days for those students from now through March, okay? So as a parent, what you would do is you would just contact the school. Usually it's the school secretary, but not always, but you would just contact the school and say, hey, I'm a parent that's interested in doing a parent school tour. So best time, you'll get to see what is going on during the school day. So you get it's usually about an hour, you'll see the building, but you'll also get to see a couple of classrooms and ask questions. So I highly encourage everybody to take advantage of that. But now we'll turn it over to questions. We have another mic if you do have questions, just so that we could capture it online. So anybody have any? Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get over to you.
I was late, so I just want to know, where do I ask questions after you guys put this online? How do I ask questions after?
Great question. So when this goes out, my contact information will be on that email, and so you can ask me, and what I'll do is kind of serve as that point person. If I can't answer it, I will find out the person who can answer it and get you connected to them. And Julia will probably be one of those people, most likely. Oh, yeah, 816-418-PRE-K, no hyphen or anything. That will connect you to the pre-K specialist. And actually, that's who I would probably refer you to, unless it's about kindergarten. Thanks for asking. Any other enrollment or admissions questions? Yep, there's the sign-up sheet is just to let me know your name and email address, just write legibly so I can add you to the list. Yep. That way I'll get that information out. Like I said, I'll try to get that done Monday. I think I have to wait till the recording gets downloaded.
What's a proof of residency document?
Yep.
Example.
She'll just.
So our proof of residency document is, it can be a lease, it can be a utility bill, it can be a bank statement, it can be a paycheck, it can be something from Social Security, it can be a food stamp statement. We're pretty flexible, and so as long as it's within 30 days. Now, say you are living with someone else, then what we would do is ask you to come down with the person that you're living with. That person would need to bring one of those documents, and then we'll have you fill out an affidavit, and we have notaries right here in the admissions office, so we can take care of that.
Yeah. We have a lot of families who have intergenerational that are living together, so that's a common thing that we deal with. That was a good question. Any others? Questions about curriculum, arts, athletics?
Sorry, I'm back to
No, you're
admissions.
good.
You mentioned 30 days. Is it the same for immunization records? Is 30 days?
So as long as
Just stay there.
Mic check, mic check. As long as, so it's current immunizations. So if a student is, and Julia can kind of bounce into, if the student's 4 years old, they're entering kindergarten, then they'll need their kindergarten series shots. So the shots of record don't have to be within 30, like you don't have to go pick it up from the health department in 30 days. The shots just need to be updated. So accurate, current immunization records. And we understand it's like, if it's, well, it wouldn't be in this case, but yes.
Shyla, do they need to have that to enroll, or do they need to have it by the time they're placed?
By the time they're placed.
So you don't
yeah.
really need that on Saturday the 9th, the immunization. Just make sure you get it to us
Yeah.
so you can get your seat.
Because we
So-
realize that some students, like if a student's entering kindergarten, they might not be 5 right now, so they might not be eligible to get their kindergarten shots.
5-year-old
But
shots.
as long as you have your immunization record, then we're good.
Yeah, so, and it's like, you can still complete application without it, but you'll need it in order to come to the site. I also want to say, if you know anyone who's not housed, sometimes that's a person who's not on a lease. Maybe they have a bedroom or a couch. Those are called students in transition. And so if they're unhoused, we have a department that's really phenomenal who does our students in transition. And so they get access to some of those services that they might need to get housed. And they also get a signed status for a year for being able to have that qualification. Sometimes they'll get free transportation to and from a shelter or from a residence so that their child can stay in a stable school, whether or not their personal, where they sleep at night is changing. So we have a lot of that in our Head Start. Just wanted to say that you don't have to be, if you are not on a lease and you do not have a gas bill, we have something for you too. And we have a special status called Students in Transition, and we'll get you services.
And that department also provides other resources to families, such as, if, say they have little ones, they can put you in connections with people who can get you some diapers and milk and things of that nature. So it's an excellent department that we have.
Yeah, they get a lot of families housed. We have a new grant from United Way. So some of our apartments are ready to go for those families who need that help.
Yep.
And we do a lot with refugees as well, so.
I would also, can you cover, Julia or Shyla, about IEPs coming into kindergarten? Like just how that, do we, like if you already have a student that has an IEP, how do we process that?
So with the IEPs are our special education students. So our special education department will reach out to the family. They'll review the IEP to make sure that the services are at the school that you have selected. Because we want to make sure that our students are at a school that will align, with the services that they need. And that's for the upper grades as well. Say you have a second grader that's moving in and maybe your neighborhood school is Banneker, but Banneker doesn't provide the services for the IEP that your child has. The SPED department will provide transportation to a school that will be able to get the services for your child. So if your student is entering with the IEP, if you have that, bring it down to admissions. We have a special education liaison that we work with that can meet with you and review the records or give you a call. But if you don't, you can mark that the student has an IEP. Even if you suspect that your child has an IEP and you want them to get tested, mark that they have an IEP so that can flag the special education department so that they can start that process. I believe it's 30 days. Don't quote me, but I believe it's roughly 30 days that they do the evaluation and start that process.
So on that note, sometimes it's tricky when you have a 3 or 4-year-old. We do, our special education department will come out to your home and give itinerant services. Oh my gosh. We even help the charter school students. We help the whole city. And we can also do those resources within our classroom. And all you have to do is call. If you want to call 418 pre-K, one of our prompts, I think number 5 is special ed pre-K in early childhood. So we keep it really simple for you to get that help. If you put it in writing, it's 30 days. So it's really important, but you do still have to apply so you know who you are and if that's really your kid and all those legal parameters. So really phenomenal department. We do have high-minute special ed rooms in 3 and 4. We have resources where the students are just getting speech or getting occupational therapy in our classrooms. So that's a really big part of our population, and we usually try to get those students off those IEP and hit those milestones. And our wonderful Andrea Bailey is head of our Parents as Teachers, which started in Missouri. So you can have a parent educator come out to your house and help you with your monthly milestones, give you free diapers, and she is our leader. She's been with us for like 18 years. Her sons are all the football stars of Northeast High School. And Parents as Teachers is phenomenal. So come and get some help from them. They'll also refer people who are under age 5 to First Steps, which is a special needs parent visitation. So we have so many resources in the district. It sounds like, oh my gosh, we do a lot. And we're grateful that you came out and listened to us tonight. Thanks.
Any other questions? Yep.
I'm a first-time mom, so I just have questions. I do a lot of hands-on and learning with my daughter, with myself, basically, when I get off of work. And do you think that because you have kids, I know you mentioned it, I just like some advice, basically. Do you suggest pre-K for children? Because I've been considering and kind of waiting until my daughter goes into kindergarten and then place her, if I prepare her enough, but just for your advice.
Mom to mom, I would say that's a really personal decision. And that I think one of the things that might make me feel more comfortable about it is knowing what she would be going into. So learning, like taking advantage of that school tour and seeing, and then talking maybe even to some educators in that building. I had two girls that were chomping at the bit. And so it was an easy decision for me. But again, I don't think parenting is tough enough, right? And so every child is very unique and different. And just, pay attention to what works for your child and for you, and keep just making sure you're aware of everything that might be available to you, and get advice from everybody. And then weigh at home. So I can't say one would be better or the other, but it worked for us. And one thing I will say is, this is not related to any curriculum or anything, but for me, I'll just give you my little testimony. When we chose Kansas City Public Schools at P3, I had no idea that the people that I ended up sending my children to school with would end up becoming my parent friends. So I'm not saying it's a huge important decision for you too, it's really more for your child, but it is something that has enriched our family from P3, and like I said, I have a 22-year-old now. The people that we ended up going to school with at 3 years of age are the people that we actually invite over for dinners and go out for, vacations and whatnot together. So it is that neighborhood village kind of that I was talking about that you get, and you don't even know that that's what's getting ready to happen to you. So. Any other questions? All right, and I'll go grab my cards. If you guys, you'll get my contact information on the email. That's what I'm here for. If you have questions, if you want to talk, I've been through your same process that you're going through right now, and just reach out to me. Thank you so much for spending your evenings with us. There are more sandwiches if anybody wants to pick up something to take home to a loved one. Oh, thank you. If you would be so kind, we are trying to make this better and see what we can. There's 3 questions. It's a 3-star rating, and then what did you like, and what do you think we can improve on? So we took some of the feedback already and incorporated a couple of those pieces. So please let us know how we can get better. Thank you again for your time. Grab something on the way out, and holler at me if you need help on your school decision journey. Tell other friends too. When we send out this video, we also will hope to post it onto our website. Please encourage other parents who are not able to attend to take advantage of the info sessions. We'll be doing a few more in January too, so FYI. Thanks again.
Thank you.